And we're back. Okay, so we're gonna continue on here, and I'm gonna sort of um, put some more detail in the snout. Like we'll make his little mouth. We'll sort of carve that in, if you will. But if you look at this side, and there's his mouth there, and then we look at the front view, there's his mouth there. And this lines up good over here. But it really doesn't line up at all over here. So construction planes are never going to be perfect. So I'm going to sort of go with this front view, I think. So I'm just going to pull this stuff up just like that. And then I'm going to pull these points. Whoops, got the back one there instead. So I'm going to pull these front points down just above his mouth. Pull that one there. And then what I think I'm going to do, every year I do this a little bit differently. So this year I think what I'm going to do, just to keep things fresh, is I'm going to go and add an insert edge loop, and I'm going to put one right along here. And you'll see why in a minute. And I'll have to space these out a little bit more later on. You'll see why. But what that sort of enables me to do is something similar to how we had the arms and legs, but in a different way. So I will explain. So what I'm going to do is select these two faces that I've made here. And remember before we made one here with this ring. We made one with the arm and the leg. Now I'm going to do the same here on the mouth. And I haven't done it this way, so I'm just, bear with me. It might not work. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to delete that there. And I'm going to line up this edge. I'm going to put 0 on X so it lines up nicely. And now I've sort of isolated this mouth area. I'm just going to pull that back and sort of line that up like so. So now I've sort of got this isolated loop here that goes around like that for the mouth. Now what I think I should be able to do is we'll go back to our sliding edge tool and slide it up to where the mouth is, and then I'll do the same here. So about there, maybe bring that in a little bit. And now I'm just going to try this and see if it works. I'm going to extrude, use my power ball. Actually, maybe not. Let's not use the power ball and see what happens. Just going to extrude back. Yeah, that worked. And now we've sort of got that mouth shape. I'm going to scale that down a little bit. Oh, we'll have to fix that. Okay, so scale that down. Just notice how that one's going that way. So that's okay. I'll select my points and just bring it back to earth a little bit. There. Okay, so now I've sort of got the mouth. I want to delete this face here that the extrusion makes. And now we've sort of got our mouth. Yeah, it's a little wonky here. Pull that up there. Sort of want to be changing angles a lot, so you don't notice you're screwing up until you change the angle a little bit. And maybe we'll just narrow this gap just so it's not so wide. Make it a little tighter, like a tiger. Austin Powers reference there. Okay. Alright. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It's definitely a lot blockier than it is in the reference construction plane, but that's okay. We're going to smooth things out later. And let's just sort of space that out a little bit more. Alright. Looks half decent. Let's pull these this way. And now, because we made that extra loop right here, we should probably space these out a little bit better. So let's go here, here, and then we'll use our handy dandy slide edge tool. Slide it up, slide that up a little bit. You want to have these evenly spaced, because when we smooth it, it's not going to be so smooth. You want all your lines as evenly spaced out as possible for the smoothing process. That we did do a little bit a couple weeks ago, if I do recall. So one more time, slide edge, we'll slide that up a little, slide that up just a little. That's pretty good. Good bear. Okay, now eyebrows, eyes, ears, these types of things, I don't think, you could build it out of the same mesh, but there's almost no point. So let's just sort of, I'll just save that, and let's just start making some new objects here and stick them on there. I think that's the way to go for sure. There's no way I'm gonna pull out these. Let's just make it easier on ourselves and just make some spheres. So I'm gonna go create polygon primitive, and I'm gonna go sphere, and that makes a sphere. I don't think we need all of this geometry, so let's change our subdivisions maybe to 12. Yeah, let's turn off our view plane for a sec. I'm just gonna bring that out there. Excuse me. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go look at it from the right view. I'm gonna go to my component mode. I'm gonna select faces, and we're not gonna see the eye from behind. You don't have to do this, but I'm gonna select half of it and just hit delete, because it's just a bunch of extra geometry that we don't really need. It's a good habit to get into, is just trimming away geometry. And then let's look at this from the front view, turn our X-ray mode on and get our eye in the right spot on this plane anyways. So about like that. Looks good. Go on the right view, and then we'll get it placed on there. See, it doesn't line up. I'm sort of going with the front view. Turn that off, and we'll rotate it and stick it in there. And now I want to scale it, flatten it out a little bit. Okay, I want to show you something else. Okay, so see how my manipulator or my translate mode, it's in world mode right now. So my object's actually sort of crooked here compared to this arrow, but if I go to my rotate mode, it's not. And I go to my scale mode, it's not. So when you're in your move tool by W and you go over to your tool options, it says world here. If I change that to object, now it's lined up correctly. This won't always work, but it's handy for doing stuff like this. And then just sort of place it in there, scale it, probably flatten it out a little bit because they're like buttons, I guess. Rotate it just so it's like that. Yeah, good enough for me. All right, so ears. Looks like a cube to me. So I'm going to go create polygon primitive cube. Let's sort of bring it loosely into place, and I'm going to scale it this way just to trim it down. Let's look from the front view. and get it into place here. See, it's not exactly lined up, which is fine. The two views don't really mesh all that well, apparently. So I'm going to do sort of scale it. I'm using my different axis. Notice how I'm just grabbing one box and that box. I'm not grabbing the middle all the time. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than it needs to be. It's good. And we'll sort of shimmy it into place here. About there. Perfect. Alright. What we can do now is I will go to my component mode. I'm going to select faces. I'm going to make sort of like an indent here for his ears. So I'm going to extrude that. Click on that guy. That brings up the middle one. And I'm going to pull that in. And then I'm going to hit G for my extrude tool again. And I'm going to extrude it in like that. So I've kind of got this like sort of like hollowed out box almost. And I'm going to go back to my, whoa. Got this other view here. I don't want that. Oh well. There. Now kind of want to round it a little bit at the top, but I'm going to add a division here. So insert edge loop, go like that. And I'm going to go back to my move tool. And I've got it on object orientation, which is good. Bring that in a little bit. Maybe bring in this a little bit, but not as much. Like that, maybe. And we could probably add another loop here. Something like that. Pretty basic, but can line it up a bit better with our reference model here. Our construction plane, rather. Rough. We're going for roughage here. Okay. Good enough for me. Maybe just pull that back just so it's not totally. Maybe do that and then maybe select that loop and just scale it just a little bit so it's not squared. It's organic modeling after all. Okay, so now we got the ear, we got eyes. There's a little triangle snout action we're missing, so and the eyebrows, of course. So let's just start. Let's do the eyebrows first. We'll go polygon primitive cube. Get that into place. I mean, there's not much to the eyebrows, right? It's basically a smoothed cube, and we're gonna smooth it at the end. So I'm gonna go like that. Just sort of smash it in there. Just getting smashed. There we go. Okay, maybe we'll add a little bit more detail with an edge loop or two. Something like so. Edge loop. I should really make a button for that. There. And let's see what we got. Oh, going off the radar a little bit, which is fine. Going back to my component mode. Incidentally, the hotkey for that is F9. And I can bring that up a little. Down. Like that. That looks pretty good. Not much to it, really. Now we should do this little nose triangle, and then I think we'll probably be close to 20 minutes by then, so we'll cut it off there, and then we'll do one last video to polish it up. So to do this, let's just start with another cube. Looks like a triangle, but I don't like triangles, in case you haven't noticed. So, best way to do this. I think I will go to my component mode and start deleting a couple faces. I'll delete that face, and I'll delete that face. And so we only really want to make half. So we're going to flip it over, right? So I'm just going to put that in there like so, and I'll select those faces and just sort of scale them in. Put them like that, and all of these have to be along X, so I'm just going to select those, and I'm going to put 0 in X, so it's nice and tidy, and don't really need it to be that far. So I'm going to move that down there, and maybe one more quick little rotation like that, and I think maybe one edge loop along here. And I'll turn my X-ray on so I can see what I'm doing. And I'll turn X-ray off. You know, we don't really need to take it any further than that. At all. Alright, so I think what I'll do is just, go back here and square that up. Type in 0, square it up again. Okay, I think we're ready for the big reveal here. So we're gonna, next part, we're gonna smooth it. Maybe after we smooth it, we'll have to tidy a few things up, I'm sure, and then we will flip it, and then we'll be done. So we're almost there, peeps, so stay tuned. Check you on the flip.